What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys Ayakashi Triangle, back from break onto chapter 118, and I really quite like this chapter. The chapter is entitled 222 Matsuris, of course, because at the end of the last chapter we know that as a result of the corruption seemingly awakening, according to this chapter, now I think there's more to the story, but in this particular chapter they're saying that this is the gender swap jutsu awakened, similar to how an Ayakashi can be born. The corruption managed to manifest in that way. Now they can both still use the wind jutsu. They both seemingly have all the memories, and surprisingly also the boy Matsuri has all the memories clearly leading up to today, like all the memories of being, so they're identical except for the fact that, of course, there's the Matsuri for the last 118 chapters, you know, being a girl, the silver hair, all that stuff, and then there's the boy that we met at the very beginning of the series. And they're right down to their aura, their personalities, everything, their love for Suzu, it's all there. Now, once again, is this doppelganger evil clone time? Because the Gogyosen, they even remarked that, oh man, they must be freaking out right now. It was intended for Suzu, but this happened. Now it's 2v1 right now, you know? These two can work together, that kind of idea. Clearly, it's not as simple as that. Now, Shirogane and Granddad and all them, they clearly don't seem to know exactly what to make of this. They do summarize that potentially Matsuri in this form is similar to how Shadow Mai is. She was a person at one point, but she has literally become an Ayakashi. And in this regard, Matsuri in the gender swap form has now became their own entity, but is no more than an Ayakashi. Now, that being said, I feel like there is a couple of problems with that necessarily if they stop and think, but of course they're all overwhelmed right now. They're all overwhelmed and not thinking of the specific details, but yes, they can both use wind, and sure, Ayakashi can use wind and stuff like that, but wouldn't there be other signs of an Ayakashi in that regard? Because Ayakashi can sometimes hide from sight and all this stuff like that. Like, there should be more. Once again, it is unprecedented, though. They don't really know that much about the corruption, how it could have manifested, and we know that the Gogyosen are actually like, well, this is the next best thing. They're not upset at the corruption affecting Matsuri in this way. So in this regard, in this chapter, it's, of course, girl Matsuri seemingly has to run away and stuff like that because she's thought of to almost not be there, like who's the real one, who's not a fake, you know, and it brings up a lot of questions in that regard. Now, she decides to like take off because she sees Suzu looking at her in a way that, or him that isn't a way that everyone wants to see, and they're all kind of, what's really going on, what's happening? Shirogane doesn't even seem to know. So this is unprecedented and they don't really know what's going down. Now, the thing is, to me, the boy Matsuri is clearly, I'm going to go with I don't know if we're going to go with the evil twin route. It'd be very cliche. I'm going to guess that this Matsuri is the corruption. Because the corruption didn't just go away. The corruption, this evil aura stuff created this super kamikaze spell created by the Gogyosen that makes everyone turn evil. Didn't just, oh, we're making two Matsuris and no evilness, no nothing whatsoever. It's clear to me that, of course, that the boy Matsuri must be maybe not working for the Gogyosen, but is the one that has the corruption and stuff, right? Took maybe some of the essence or something, enough to hide it from even the grandfather who says the aura's the same, everything works out, everything checks out, but there's something more to the story. The fact of the matter is also that boy Matsuri is too calm and too just right on the noise, like, well, you're obviously the fake. Just right out of the gate. I don't know of anybody who would talk to their former self in that regard after knowing everything that you've been through as yourself, as being gender swapped and stuff like that. You wouldn't clearly be like, well, I'm me again, no problem. I can go out with Suzu, you're clearly the fake. All this is stated way too quickly, way too calmly. and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is clearly, and then the confession to Suzu, like, instead of worrying about his own self running away, this Ayakashi, remember, Matsuri has grown. Matsuri actually cares about the Ayakashi in the village, has grown to care about the Ayakashi around him and surrounding him and stuff like that. And remember, Matsuri's the one who wants to help and save Shadow Mai from herself, from her own demons and stuff, being an Ayakashi. So there's a level here of... It's an interesting direction, but there's a level of Matsuri seems to have all these memories, but not quite acting like the developed or the evolved character of 119. This seems to be the one, like, not for 118 chapters. This seems to be the Matsuri from chapter 1, who still just went, nope, here's my job, here's what I do, boom, boom, boom. And so, as a result, I think it's trying to play the game. It reminds me of Reboot. Those of you who might remember the show Reboot, the old CGI show, it had the thing with the two Bobs, and there were two Bobs. One turned out to be the main villain in disguise, right? So, spoilers there if you ever wanted to watch an old 1999 show. But fact of the matter is that, yeah, I'm not trusting the boy Matsuri too calmly bringing this up, rather than, okay, how about we all put our heads together, because you're me and I'm you, we can figure this out. But automatically accusations, automatically going, well, you're clearly the fake, making assumptions, making statements, and then going straight to Suzu about, and now I can see Suzu doing this, but Matsuri not even concerned for his own other self's feelings, saying, I didn't expect things to turn out like this, but I'm a guy again, so it's boom, it's time for you and I to go out once we deal with. And then here's the thing, once we have to do something about the other me, and if something's done about that other me, no, when something is done about the other me, like as though it's just so simple, as though everything is just like, boom, yep, now we can go out and that's my main goal and stuff. It's too fast, it's too quick. Clearly the boy Matsuri is, I mean, it's so obvious, right? But you can even tell here that this isn't, Matsuri's not acting like Matsuri would. If Matsuri changed into a guy tomorrow, back to a guy, this is not how Matsuri would behave. This is not how Matsuri would act. Matsuri's acting like Matsuri, but not truly Matsuri. You know what I mean? It's not there. Initially, I thought that Kanade, inside, of course, Shirogane wants to interrupt in that kind of idea, and says, wait, I want to hear this. Seemingly is looking, at first I thought like, I don't trust this, because we haven't heard from Kanade and her opinion yet on what exactly is going on, but it seems that at first I thought the reaction was something along the lines of, I don't trust this boy Matsuri as far as I can throw him. Let's just see what's he gonna do. Well, when's he gonna push his luck where it's like, clearly you're not the real Matsuri, who are you, that kind of idea. But then I was seeing the expression on her face more closely, and maybe that's it, maybe not, maybe she's expecting the love confession, the you'll be able to go out with me now, that kind of stuff. And of course the beginning of the chapter had to have our Ichi moment, right? It had to have the Ichi moment with Suzu just imagining like, okay, they're gonna have basically a threesome and that kind of stuff. So I mean, ideally, it's one of those funny things, sort of like the Watchmen movie. Ideally, isn't that what some people would want? Because it's not really cheating, and it's not sharing, because it's you sharing with you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's one of those things like Dr. Manhattan splitting himself into multiple. It's like, hey, let's have a good time, so maybe something like that. And she thinks she's in trouble, and she's gonna know you are trouble. The end part of the chapter, though, of course, is quite interesting, because now Soga, one of the best characters, of course, he's involved, because, as I said, Girl Matsuri ran away. The real one, well, I'm believing in the real one, like me, I'm an Ayakashi, and it's like, I feel like maybe because this is so much about the comedy and the drama and the romance and stuff, I've forgotten some of the rules, but I feel like if I reread, there'd be easy ways to test whether she's a true Ayakashi or not quite easily. Like, I feel like certain people, like maybe Garaku or someone, would be able to, like, not a medical test, not a blood test, but basically be like, no, you can't be an Ayakashi, because all Ayakashi, Like, there's got to be rules, right? All Ayakashi can't stand the smell of this. Go to Rio. Ayakashi can't detect this. Ayakashi can't smell this. Ayakashi will be knocked out by this, but regular humans won't be. Like, there's clearly, there must be some easier methods. So they're creating drama for the sake of it, but I know everybody's extremely flustered. It's like, what is this? How did this happen? We don't know enough about the corruption, etc. So starts to have doubts, of course, thinking like, I am Matsuri Kazumaki, but would everything turn out better if I left? Because now myself as myself, but in my proper gender, is there with Suzu. Like, there's no reason for me to be around, sort of idea. Feeling very down. Soga shows up, of course, and finds Matsuri, like, by the river. Of course, always by the river, right? Always got to be by the river. It's seemingly, or by the farmer's field. Anyway, off to the side of the road, and she's crying, or he's crying, he's upset and stuff like that. And Soga's like, what the hell's going on? And he says, hey, can I stay at your place tonight? Sort of idea, like, I don't want to go home. And of course it's like, oh my god, stay over, what? You know, and that kind of idea. But of course, they're going to have the discussion in the next chapter. And then finally, Soga's back in the story. I really miss Soga. He was just out doing his fastest delivery service. He makes Skip the Dishes and DoorDash look like they're running in slow-mo. So he's, of course, delivering all the greatness in the world. But it's going to be an interesting chapter going into 119. It'll be extremely interesting to see how Soga is going to, or maybe Soga will be much more level-headed about all this, or maybe he'll be the one to be like, all right, Matsuri Kazumaki, let's go, sort of idea. And be like, hey, it's been nice. Like, they'll play this sort of trick on the boy Matsuri to reveal himself. Maybe it won't be so easy as, oh, Suzu, because she's in love with the real one, she'll figure it out. No, I would actually like the twist, assuming that boy Matsuri is, of course, the corrupted one and evil. It'd be very interesting for Soga to be like, I have my training partner back. It's good because I'm not, into the, I'm not distracted by your breasts anymore, anything like that and stuff. And then does something and makes Matsuri, the boy Matsuri, slip up, and so it's like ching, and like, kunai, who are you? The real Matsuri Kazumaki would know this, that, or the other thing. I feel like something like that is going to develop. You know what I mean? I feel like that's going to be chapter 119. So, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I thought it was a really good chapter. I like the direction. As I told you guys last chapter review, I like the direction going forward with this. It's a little more fun. It's a little more play on the whole evil twin brothers trope, but it delves itself into a little bit of differences. How has the corruption affected? And how are they going to reveal that boy Matsuri, which once again, I'm assuming here, it's not exactly like a split soul or anything like that. And that's another possibility. Maybe the corruption simply split the soul and the Gogyo-sen is hoping for the infighting between them. Maybe the corruption will bring up their negative emotions, but both of them are the real Matsuri Kazumaki. Just soul splitting. Maybe the corruption soul split them. Who knows? And now they have to return to being one again, sort of idea. And it won't erase, of course, the gender swap jutsu or anything like that. And they're going to have to make that hard decision. And boy Matsuri is going to be like, no, selfishly because of the corruption and the negative emotions. That's another possibility. Maybe this boy Matsuri is not actually evil, just the other half of selfish desires. And that's why he's moving really quickly. With Suzu's like, I wanted to be a boy again. I want to go out with Suzu and all that stuff. And all that stuff is right now at the surface. Maybe that's, and they're hoping for the inner turmoil, so the Gogyo-sen have an easier time with the Matsuri's distracted. They have an easier time with getting to Suzu, right? So that's a possibility as well. But either way, that was chapter 118, 222 Matsuris. I thought it was a pretty good chapter. I like the direction here, and anytime with Ninokuro Soga again is always a good chapter. So thanks guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe as always, and don't forget, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers as well, so definitely don't forget to spread the word and get me up to 1,000 subscribers. Be pretty cool. And yeah, so that's the review. Hope to see you guys back here for chapter 119, and we'll see you guys back here next time. Have a good one. Sayonara.